Good evening and welcome to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix International Raceway here in Avondale, Arizona for tonight's round number 13 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. I'm Tony Stevens, alongside me Joe Cortez. And Joe, tonight's race is the first race of the so-called chase for the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series Championship. 4 races remain. The drop race has been factored in after Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago, and now we know exactly what everybody has to do to win a championship. And the answer is, you pretty much have to shoot Kenny Humphrey.
Let's not go that dire there, Tony. But yes, the chase is not going to be so much of a chase as it's going to be a victory lap for Kenny Humphrey. After the drop race, he has 116 points over Ray Alfalla, the two-time champion PJ Sturgis. Behind him, 146 points away, and Chris Overland, 147 points away for Kenny Humphrey. Kenny Humphrey, basically, he doesn't even have to finish the race at this point. All he has to do is show up, turn a lap for the next, at least 2 of the next 4 races, Tony, and Kenny Humphrey has already cashed himself a check for $10,000, and that just shows you what the team has been able to do with him. But more importantly, it goes to show you what consistency will do for you. You win nearly half the races, Tony, you're going to walk away with some money.
Oh, absolutely. He's won 5 out of 12 starts so far this season. By far the most productive driver in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. 10 top 10 finishes. The next closest driver is Ray Alfalla, who has 5. That should tell you simply how dominant Kenny Humphrey has been all season long. Now, this is not giving it to him by any means, though, Joe, because of the simple fact that you can get 48 points per race. That's 96 points over 2 races when you factor in the rest. So it's about 2.5 races of a gap. Not over. He can come out tonight, finish last the next week, and next thing you know, everybody else is right back in the thick of it. So let's not quite engrave the trophy, but we probably should at least warm up the machine and get the plate ready, because it's looking that way. But again, it's not completely over. There still is a chance. In the battle for third on back between Sturgis, Overland, Blackford, all of that group, it's a very tight battle as well. And there's a lot of money on the line for that part of the championship too. They've got some cash at hand, and of course some iRacing gift cards as well, Joe. Now moving on to tonight's race, Phoenix International Raceway. This is the first time this series has been here with the, what they call the open dog leg, Joe. We have all that room out of turn number 2 to sweep down the flat part of the racetrack, try to pass people, but try to get back in line before you get to turn number 3. The big question mark is, how many problems are we going to see out of that open dog leg tonight, and how many really good chances may be negated by somebody doing something really weird back there?
That's actually a very good question. It's going to be something that I'm going to be very entertained to see over the course of tonight's race, because you have so much racing service there, because you have so much opportunity. There are going to be guys who are going to try to do everything they can to cut that dog leg and really make it work for them. Do not be surprised to see a lot of 3-wide racing through that very, very wide groove. But as we've seen before, 3-wide racing at a track like this, a smaller track like PIR, means it's going to be a little hairy, if you will. It's going to be a little precarious for those drivers who have to try to navigate that. Plus, you also have 2 different strategies here in play right now. If you're in that top 10, we're walking away with iRacing credits and a trophy at the end of the series, you're going to do everything you can, including but not limited to use that chrome horn if you need to try to get in front of the guy in front of you. So everyone from 10th up to 6th in the points right now, they're going to do everything they can to start fighting, because you know what? Once they hit 5th, once they hit 4th, that's when they start getting into the money points there, and that's when they walk away with a big check signed by the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. So those guys are going to do everything they can to try to get up front. The guys in the top 5, though, Tony, they have to play defensive right now. They have to do everything they can to hold on to their points, because they know they are 8 weeks away, 4 races away from cashing in some cold, hard cash money that they want to have at the end of the season. So 2 different strategies at play, and what you're going to see is that dog leg is going to be the catalyst for all of it.
Should be certainly fun. Of course, 3 races remain after tonight. Darlington Raceway, the Lady of Black, Chicagoland Speedway, and ultimately the Homestead Miami Speedway, the 1.5-mile speed complex down at the southern tip of Florida. All going to be very interesting. All bring their own challenges to the table, and certainly are going to be fun to watch here on iRacing Live, PSR TV, Fans Choice, and all of our affiliates. Joe, before we head to the grid, of course, this past Sunday there was, well, it was a very bleak day in motorsports. We'll just be very frank about it. Justin Wilson, a favorite amongst many IndyCar faithful, journalists, fans, competitors, unfortunately lost his life in an accident at the Pocono Raceway. And all we can do is simply look back on the good times, remember the things that he brought to our memories, the smiles, and the things that will hold with us forever. Unfortunately, Justin Wilson no longer with us, and we do regret that he has passed on. We will remember the badass Wilson.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back here to Phoenix International Raceway. Just a couple of moments remaining in this final happy hour practice session, and really should be no surprise given the current situation, Joe. Top of the chart, Ray Alfalla, Brad Mahar, Cody Bias, Kenny Humpy, and Brad Davies. The fastest 5 in practice, but they will start nowhere near there. They are certainly jumbled up. The guy that sat on the pole here tonight, the Georgian, Casey Tucker, in his number 28. Really a bit of a surprise to see him on point.
Yeah, a lot of interesting results so far here in practice. Alfalla so far the fastest in practice, but he grids 11th on the field. Casey Tucker will start on the pole. Now, a lot of drivers just very scattered throughout this grid. A lot of talent scattered every different part of this grid. So seeing the talent being distributed the way it will be, I think we're going to be in for some very entertaining racing very quickly. We're not going to have to wait till race number to lap number 156 to get an idea of where this race is going to go, Tony.
No, we really aren't, Joe. Of course, 156 laps. Not a lot of time here around the Phoenix International Raceway. Just 250 kilometers or 156 miles, so a relatively short race by NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series standards. Let's take you through the field and how they will line up for tonight's 156-miler. As mentioned, Casey Tucker in the 28 is on the front row. Corey Vincent in the 10 will start to look outside.
Heir apparent to the crown, Kenny Humpy will start in position number 3. The 58 machine on the outside of him. The 27 to Cody Bias.
PJ Sturgis and Nick Ottinger make up row 3.
Row number 4 belongs to 13 of Brad Mahar on the inside. The 38 of Ryan Lowe on the outside.
Andrew Fayach the 3rd, solid run in 9th, and Matt Busa rolls 10th.
In 11th, the two-time champ Ray Alfalla will roll off to position number 11 in the 2. Outside of him, the 36 of Justin Bolton, 12.
Kevin King and Taylor Hurst will make up row number 7.
Row number 8 belongs to the 39 of Michael J. Johnson. We've got a pedal cam on him. We will check in later on the race with. On the outside of him, the 83 of Thomas Davis.
Danny Hansen and Brian Blackburn make up row number 9, starting 17th and 18th.
Row 10, Brendan Burmeister on the inside, Dave Rattler on the outside.
Nathan Wise, Brandon Bowie, Brad Davies, Tyler Laughlin, and Rob Ackley are the next 5.
Brandon Schmidt, Shane Doherty, Tyler Hill, Trey Addison, Adam Gillen round out your top 30.
And it's Alex Scribner, Chris Overland, Byron Daly, Landon Harris, and Jake Sturgis in 35th.
Michael Connie, Brian Schoenberg, Patrick Crabtree, Alex Warren, Brian Day, Stephen Gilbert round out your field of 41 drivers tonight that will take the green flag in just a few moments' time. But now it's all to the attention of Casey Tucker, the driver of the 28 machine, getting ready to take the green flag for the first of 156 laps around this Phoenix International Raceway. Green flag in the air, and we have begun here in the desert.
Round number 13 of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series is underway, and Casey Tucker wastes no time getting out to the lead over Kenny Humpy and others. And look at that 28-car motor ahead. 2-3 car lengths already. This youngster certainly wanting to impress here tonight at Phoenix. He has been solid all season long, but really haven't talked a lot about him. Tonight, that changes. Casey Tucker leads lap 1 here at the Valley of the Sun.
Well, take a look at the 05 there, my guy Nick Ottinger. He won 2 weeks ago at Watkins Glen. He's excited. He's pumped up about a win. He wants to get up front, but meanwhile, that dogleg already coming into play as the 58 of Kenny Humpy wants to take away the lead, pick up the bonus point, try to start walking away with this championship. Will he do so? Not this. No, check that. He will this time around. Kenny Humpy, your new leader, on completing lap number 2.
Casey Tucker gave him a lot of room. In fact, nearly knocked the wall down, and Tucker had to check it up. So Humpy to the point at the conclusion of lap number 2. Behind them now the battle is for third. That's where Corey Vincent is trying to hold off the number 57 of Sturgis. Moves Sturgis up to position number 3. Also in the mix there, the 05 of Ottinger and his resurgence the last few races. And also up there in the top 5-6 spots, Cody Bias and Ryan Lowe, a couple other drivers who we have not talked about for a few races.
Lots of guys using that dog leg early in this race to make some passes, to make some critical moves. Everybody ducking as low as they can down that line to try to get themselves forward early in this race. I've got a feeling that taking the lead or taking position early is going to be critical to winning this race later down the line. Let's go back to where as Nick Ottinger continues to try to fight for fifth. Cody Bias is now 6. Ryan Lowe sitting in 7th. Brad Mahar. Rayon Fowler's moved up a couple positions. He's now in 9th. And Kevin King breaks into the top 10. Now here comes the 05 of Nick Ottinger. He's going to try to use that dogleg to his advantage. Does so famously, but can he complete the pass around the 10 for 4?
Off turn number 4, Ottinger will move to position number 4 around Corey Vincent. So Ottinger is up a spot. And remember, Ottinger has won here at Phoenix before in the past. Mind you, it was a different layout. It was the old layout without this quote-unquote open dog leg. But really that shouldn't change a whole lot, I would think, Joe. Turns 1 and 2 as well as turns 3 and 4, more or less the same. The transitions might be a little bit different on the backside of the racetrack, but I would think once you figure this place out, you really know how to get around here. And Nick Ottinger never forgets a racetrack.
No, he doesn't. This is why he is so dangerous at those 1.5 mile tracks, but also at this kind of oblong shape of Phoenix International Raceway. He knows this track well. He feels very comfortable at this track, and because of that, he is an absolutely a threat to walk away with the win. Let's go back a couple positions now and check out what's going on between Cody Bias and Ryan Lowe, as Bias drops all the way back to position number 7. Lowe will sit in 6th for now. Bias is trying to make the pass last lap, couldn't make it. He's going to try again, it looks like, but the 38 might push him too far down the dogleg to do so.
Well, Bias was able to get a run through turns 1 and 2 and able to cut down the hill off turn number 2, get underneath of Ryan Lowe. And here's the hard part. Do you shove Lowe up the racetrack to where you have to crack the throttle? The answer in this case is no. Bias and Lowe going to go back to turns 1 and 2 side by side. Now watch the 27 car here, Joe. He's going to use as much racetrack as possible and should, yep, as he does, cut right down the dog leg and tries to shorten racetrack. But Lowe able to use that momentum on the outside. And this is something that me personally, I've never been able to figure out. Why do you cut down there and pinch that car off where you can carry a lot of that momentum around the outside? I think there are 2 or 3 different schools of thought on how to approach the dog leg. We're seeing all of those and then some here tonight as here comes Ray Alfala behind him, getting around Brad Mahar to move himself up to position number 8.
So while Fallon will move up 3 positions on the grid so far, and it's only lap number 10, I've got a feeling he's not done behind him. They continue to run to my tune. 77 of Andy Fayash, the 36 of Justin Bolton. Running on that outside line underneath them will be the 32 of Danny Hansen and the 74 of Taylor Hurst, 2 by 2. They continue through turns 1 and 2, and this is where you can see that open dogleg coming to play. Yes, for the segway machine of Danny Hansen. He will duck down. He will get in front of Andy Fayash. 36 gets a shot from the 74, and the gloves are coming off early in this race.
Gloves are in fact coming up. Whoa, watch out. Hello, Fayash just about clobbered the concrete off the final turn. Able to get that car off of that part of the racetrack before it became an issue. But it did open the door for Taylor Hurst. Now Justin Bolton. Here comes the 24 of Nathan Wise. You see him fan out 3, nearly 4 wide. Fayash, the big loser on that one. Wise picks up a spot. And again, Joe, this open dog leg, a bit of a wild card here at Phoenix, because it really opens up the opportunities to pass and maybe get a run on the guy that otherwise you would be unable to make a maneuver on. We just saw it executed perfectly by Nathan Wise, who picked up 2 spots in less than a lap.
Hey, that exactly you did. You saw why that dogleg's going to be so critical. And now Danny Hansen trying to use that dogleg as well to get around 29 of Kevin King. He's going to try to fight as hard as he can on the outside, the 32 underneath him, doing whatever he can to make the pass. Not going to happen this time by, but I've got a feeling we're going to see him show up one more time. Back up in front, though, it is the Kenny Humphrey show, and the more laps it leads, Tony, the worse news it is for everyone trying to chase him in this 4-race finale.
It really is, Joe, because if Kenny Humphrey were to win tonight, whoa, watch out, hello, Taylor Hurst. That was nearly disastrous as he and Danny Hansen came into blows with each other, but they'll keep it rolling in the right direction. Benjamin Burmeister right there in the middle of that one, too. So is the 77 of Andrew Fayash the third, and then Danny Hansen maybe trying to deliver a little bit of payback there, Joe. He's going to lose 4 or 5 spots now after killing all of his momentum in turn number 1. So apparently the SegPay payback didn't quite work out right.
The SegPay payday did not necessarily work for Danny Hansen, but I have to agree with him at this point. Discretion is the better part of valor, but the last thing you can afford is a penalty going into the last 3 races of the 2015 season. And when you look at where Danny Hansen is, he's currently sitting in 23rd. He is 3 spots away from being locked in for the first race, for the opening races of the 2016 campaign. And when you look at that, he has to do everything he can. He has to show up and he has to have a good run these next 4 races. So in that case, I give him a lot of credit for not dumping the guy in front of him, because the last thing he can afford is a penalty. And if he gets too severe a penalty, he could be grounded for a race. If he's grounded for a race, he's going to have to work his way back up to the Pro Series all winter long.
That's not a task any driver wants to try to accomplish. Yes, it's a relatively, that's a very relative term, I guess, but relatively simple concept. You finish well in the Pro Series, you move up to this series. But that Pro Series is not full of slouches. There are a lot of hungry hounds that really want to claw their way up to the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, and they're willing to do just about anything. Spectacular talent pool, not only from the Pro Series, but all the way on down to the Xfinity Series Class B cars, the Camping World Trucks, the Class C Series here on iRacing, even the NASCAR Super Late Model style cars, the street stocks. Heck, the Onyx Legends cars are just as competitive, Joe. So it's no easy task to win or do well in anything, at least as much as it would suggest on paper. So if you can avoid running one extra series just to maintain eligibility, that's something you definitely want to do. Meanwhile, this battle for second is heating up. Casey Tucker has done a good job riding in that runner-up spot, but DJ Sturgis and Nick Ottinger, they have both reeled him in. And Sturgis, the last few laps, has been just as fast, if not faster, than the leader Kenny Humphrey, and Nick Ottinger in the same boat as well. He has been faster than Kenny Humphrey the last few laps. Could the Ream Machine possibly making some sort of charge to, maybe win another race, 3 in a row? That would be almost unheard of.
As you ride on the rear bumper of that 57 machine, that is DJ Sturgis. You see the 05 and Nick Ottinger right behind him. Ottinger's in a good place in the points right now. He's currently sitting 18th. He's outside of some money at this time, but he's not very far away. If he does pick up that 1 or 2 wins on this season, then you know what? He could be very well in a money position next season. He's won some money here before. He's had some top 10 finishes season-wise. Last couple of seasons, I recall his 2013 campaign where he won 6 races on the season, but fell short of that championship to Tyler Hudson. So he knows how to do it. He's gotten a little bit of that iRacing money, if you will, and he knows what he needs to do. The only problem is, can he get around those other 3 drivers to make it happen? Well, he's going to make an attempt right now.
He's going to make the attempt, and he will succeed at getting around P.J. Sturgis, will Nick Ottinger. So with 22 laps in the books, we move Ottinger up to position number 3. And that Toyota is digging. Again, running laps as fast or faster than Kenny Humpy the last 15 or 20 circuits. Nick Ottinger is not messing around. He has figured something out now with that Gale Force Racing team, and they are determined to finish this season with a bang, as now he will set his sights on Casey Tucker for the runner-up spot as they work off turn 2 and down the backside.
Yes, he will. Ottinger will pick up that position, and now he's going to try to start digging on Casey Tucker. Meanwhile, all the infighting behind him is a good thing for Kenny Humpy. You know why? Because Humpy, the more they fight behind him, the more Kenny Humpy will have the opportunity to start pulling away slowly but surely. Right now, 1.2 seconds over Casey Tucker, 1.5 seconds over Nick Ottinger. So all the momentum they've built up, they are going to drop just as fast, trying to start working their way closer and closer to Kenny Humpy. Though it might be too little too late. Though we're only on lap 26. We still have plenty of racing left.
Plenty of racing left, and at least 1 pit stop, Joe, as well. That's the other thing we have to keep in mind, is there will be pit stops in the middle of this. Looking back here as well, Michael Conti, who's just working his way around Chris Overland. You're watching Michael Conti's progress now. He started, remember, he's the defending series champion. His season has gone, well, not so great, but Conti started 36th on the field, and so far he is up to position number 21. That is a 15-spot increase in 27 laps. Pretty stout for Mike Conti. We saw that as well on other races this season, Watkins Glen being one of them, to see how stout he was able to drive, and not only in the Peak Antifreeze series, but in the NASCAR Xfinity Series Class B cars too. So Conti has figured something out race-wise. It just seems like his team really now lacking on the qualifying bandwagon. A little bit further behind him. Ryan Schoenberg ahead of Danny Hansen. Brandon Schmidt there in the number 3. Hansen has really fallen back ever since. Hello! Watch out, Danny Hansen. Turn number 1. And that will bring out the first caution on lap number 28. Danny Hansen all by himself sends the SegPay car to recharge the wallet off to the ATM for Danny Hansen. And he will put us under yellow for the first time here tonight.
Good news for Danny Hansen, it does not appear that he touched that safer barrier at all, so we should have a very clean car. The news is he will need to go down pit road because there are some flat spots on those virtual Goodyear Eagles, so he is going to need a little bit of help. That should send him to the back of the field, plus or minus. That being said, though, this punches up the field. This gives everyone an opportunity to come down pit road for their first set of adjustments. And Tony, I gotta believe, not named Kenny Humpy right now, this is exactly what you needed to try to reset your run on lap 29. Pit road is open.
And it is feeding time at the zoo. At the completion of lap number 29, Kenny Humpy leads everyone down for service. The first of what we now anticipate will be at least 2 stops over the course of the night. Here comes the Peak Antifreeze Chevrolet to the attention of his crew, as will Casey Tucker's Ford. Nick Ottinger's Toyota in for service as well. 4 tires, we assume, will be the order of the day for the front runners, but somebody may choose to go ahead and do 2 tires. Right sides are complete on Hansen's car, and yes, 1 car will. That's Tyler Hill in the number 9. 2 tires for Hill, 2 tires for Gilliland. It's a mad dash off pit lane. They're running into one another, but Tyler Hill and Adam Gilliland, 2 tires, trying to make track position work for them. Kenny Humpy, the former leader, he will unofficially come out in 5th.
What a crazy set of pit stops, especially right there at the end. You have literally 3 cars within one another, 4 cars within one another, jockeying for position to get off pit road. And Tyler Hill wins that race. Adam Gilliland right behind him, and then a whole host of other drivers who are going to be looking for position when we come back. Tony, this is going to be a very contentious restart, if I say so myself.
It is, Joe, and as a note, Tyler Hill and Adam Gilliland apparently missed their stalls. Actually, our spotters up pit road are telling us, so they did not get any service, and they just now are finishing their 4-tire and fuel stop. So it'll all cycle back around for Casey Tucker to be in the lead. Nick Ottinger will start second. Kenny Humpy back in third. Al Falla runs fourth, and fifth, the number 27 of Cody Bias. And just like that, Joe, we are ready to roll one more time at the conclusion of lap number 31 to restart this race at Phoenix.
And again, even though those other two drivers are getting back on pit road and they're going to have to restart this race at the end of the field, this is still going to be one heck of a restart. This is being very contentious. Again, you have 5 drivers there, 6 drivers who are all hungry. Let's see what they do when they come to the green flag. Back in the air, and it's Ottinger right beside Vincent side by side. Here comes the two of Alfala, 58. Neither of those drivers wasting any time. We're back to racing in Phoenix.
Nearly 3 wide as Alfala sticks his nose in the middle of that. Again, Adam Gilliland and Tyler Hill, who came off pit road, the leaders, had to pit. They had missed their stalls, and now Casey Tucker under fire from Alfala and from Ottinger on the top side of the racetrack. Ottinger to the point. Tucker now riding second. It's a great side-by-side battle. Third different leader tonight under green with Nick Ottinger and Ray Alfala. He wants to make it number 4, right in the middle, the meat of the sandwich. No room there. He'll get squeezed out between the 2 Oreo cookies, and he will be the cream filling that will be the leftover part as the battle for the lead works its way off turn 4. Tucker again with the advantage at the stripe. Tucker will reclaim the top spot.
I'm a little speechless coming in from those analogies, but I'm going to try to keep up with you tonight. No guarantees. The 28 and the 05 still side-by-side advantage. It looks like Ottinger as he used the momentum on the track in order to try to get around the 28, and you know what? It just might work. Casey Tucker can't hold on to it, and so it'll be Nick Ottinger using speed and a little bit of physics on his side in order to pick up position number 1. Tucker behind him, Alfala, Kenny Humpy, and Corey Vincent, PJ Sturgis, all within your top 5, all hunting the 05 like hungry wolves going towards a flock of sheep. That's all I got.
You know, I would almost say it's like they're in Gastonia, North Carolina, and they put a hooded figure next to a playground. That was the latest social media trend this week, with some hooded figure in Gastonia, North Carolina, putting raw meat next to a playground. Don't know, don't get it, but that's kind of what it would remind me of, almost, when you look at the how that all went viral on social media. Really weird situation, and I don't claim to be from Gaston County, North Carolina, and nor do I live there. Caution is out. We are under yellow once again, and this time it's Brian Schoenberg over in turns 3 and 4, putting us under yellow with 36 laps in the books.
Another self-spin through 3 and 4. Looks like maybe looking at in the 47 machine. That looks like it would be it. The 47 machine that belongs to Chris Overland may have made contact with the 55. Again, the 55 able to save it. I don't think he hit that wall. If he did, it was very, very light contact on the rear end. They can fix that. That's the good news. The bad news is the run of bad luck for Brian Schoenberg will continue here at Phoenix International Raceway, and I guarantee you he is not going to be happy about how that all ended up for him. Pit road open, or no, it's not open yet. It's gonna, looks like a couple drivers are throwing the fake almost, trying to get some of their other competitors to come down a closed pit and try to start at the very end of this field. Tony spoke about social media just a minute ago. If you want to join the conversation, not about a hooded figure, please, we're not interested, but if you do want to join the conversation on social media, you can do so using the hashtag NPAS or iRacing Night. NPAS, I think, is the preferred one, Tony.
You can use them both for that matter. We'll find it one way or the other, and may even put it on the broadcast for the entire world to see. Well, while these guys get themselves settled down and we work caution number 2, we'll take a break here on iRacing Live and be back to the Phoenix International Raceway in just a minute.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
Listen, I'm trying to get sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah, I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We told you we'd be right back. You wouldn't miss a thing. Green flag in the air, and Nick Ottinger is shot out of a cannon. He is out by 2 or 3 car lengths over now. Ray Alfala and Casey Tucker. What is wrong with Casey Tucker, Joe? The 28 car did not go on that restart. He is continuing to backslide. Now, Kenny Humpy trying to work his way around. Something amiss, I would think, on the Casey Tucker machine. That thing definitely not firing on all 8 proverbial cylinders here.
He might have mistimed that. Speaking of mistiming, a caution flag back out for the 3rd time this evening. We don't even get a full lap in under the yellow flag. And I believe it has something to do with the 29. Am I wrong?
Michael J. Johnson has
39
problems.
of Michael Johnson.
He was on the outside of a 3-wide situation and couldn't tell if he got some contact from Thomas Davis or whether he simply went around on his own, but about 4 or 5 other cars caught damage in the middle of that altercation coming onto the funnel that is the front straightaway here at Phoenix. And it will put us under our 3rd caution of the night at the completion of lap number 40. So just that quickly, Joe, we are back under yellow again. And it's almost looking like this race, once you get rolling, is fine, but it takes about 4 or 5 laps to get the field strung out and get in that green flag mode. Is this something that you use later in the race, maybe, if you come down and you have a late race run, maybe try to use to your advantage on pit strategy?
Oh, absolutely. Everything you learn at this juncture, you're going to use later on in this race. It doesn't matter how you learn it or where you learn it from, but everything you learn right now, you will use later on in this race. And I think the biggest thing we're seeing these drivers adapt to, with 42 laps in, almost at the 100 to go mark, we're going to start seeing these guys start using these different startup strategies, different start-go strategies, where they either ease up on the start, they go wait as long as they can, or they time it just perfectly, as you saw Ottinger do this last time, and just take off on the track.
Well, look at this. Huh. I guess Michael Johnson decided to call it a night. Look at that, Joe. There's nobody there. It's ghost pedals.
Well, that happened. Live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, the car is in the pit lane. Apparently, they were eating ice cream, and he decided he wanted a piece. That, or he wanted to create a scene in front of the car owner and all the sponsors that were there in the pit area. You know, that's kind of where that happened last time, I think, was some guy named Cole Trickle raided the pit lane here at Phoenix. But that's neither here nor there. Something kind of interesting to think about, though.
You know, this sport has been growing. Let's not confuse that point at all. This sport has been significantly growing in leaps and bounds. And the cool thing about it is, you have real sponsors on these cars. You have real companies putting their money to show up on these cars. You have Peak Antifreeze putting their name on the series. So, Tony, in the 3 years that you and I have been doing this has definitely evolved significantly. So, somebody trying to do something, trying to put on a show to try to get a sponsor's attention, to get someone to put some money in their car, it's plausible. Anything is plausible at this juncture.
Well, I've got a pit, but I can't right now because they're eating ice cream. Nothing less. But one thing that is for certain, lights are out atop the iRacing.com safety car, and for the 4th time tonight, we'll try going green, considering the initial start of the race, and now 3 restarts. 44 laps are complete. Nick Ottinger is the leader. Ray Alfalla will be alongside of him as they mash the loud pedaling. Get back to racing. Ottinger again jumps out on the restart. Alfalla to second, and here comes Kenny Humphrey. Tucker battle for third is no longer. Look behind him. Fourth place now under fire, the 24 of Nate Wise. Where did he come from? He has been rising from 21st spot up now to the 5th position. Only 45 laps in. Great run for the Sim Seats number 24 of Nathan Wise.
He has been digging as hard as he can all night long, and now look where he's at. He's finally got, he's getting himself in a great position. He's in position to walk away with a good finish tonight. The only thing is he's got to finish it off, and we've got over 110 laps left to go. 110 when we hit the start-finish line, and so he's still got a long way in front of him, but right now, he is in an excellent position. Nathan Wise could be our dark horse tonight if the caution flag doesn't come out again.
Caution is out for Brad Davies and others who have had issues over in Calamity Corner, turns 3 and 4. It all started with the number 11, and he got a little bit of help from the 15 of Patrick Crabtree. They went around in front of the field, brought in the number 41 of Jake Sturgis, and miraculously only 3 cars catching substantial damage in that one. But it does put us under caution for the 4th time tonight at the completion of lap number 46.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in turn 3 and 4, Tony. Maybe you can enlighten us a little bit, but that track just really seems to narrow right there. And if you're on that outside line, it looks like these cars just want to come in. They want to do everything they can to come low right at the end of the turn there. And that's the crazy thing about this turn. If you're alone and you overcorrect it, you go spinning. If there's someone underneath you, you go spinning. You take a few cars with you. In this case, he took the 15 and the 41 with him. So Brad Davies is going to have to get some sheet metal repaired. So will Jake Sturgis in that 41 machine.
Yeah, a lot of guys having to come down pit lane, and this is not exactly what these guys with long run cars want to see, Joe. They know that they've got a car that needs a long run, and I think Kenny Humphrey might be more the short run from what we saw earlier. It was really kind of hard to tell. We only had about 25 laps or so on the initial green flag of the night, so nobody really knows what anybody else has. And as we get closer and closer to that halfway point of lap number, what is it, going to be lap number 78 tonight, you can make it, I think, on one stop from that point once you get there. So there's not a lot of time to tune these race cars, and I think some guys who are out to lunch, this is maybe benefiting them, maybe not. It just depends on whether you can figure out what your car needs in 2 and 3 lap runs.
All of these racers driving from the comfort of their home from around the world in one of the most competitive sim racing series in all the world. And if you want to get on it, we've got a great deal for you. Go to iRacing.com if you're a first-time subscriber. Use our promo code. You see it there at the bottom of the screen, 2015-PSRTV. You buy 1 month, we'll give you 2 free and throw in the late model as well to get you all of the sim racing action you can through the end of this fall, going into the winter months. It'll make a great gift or a little fun for yourself if you haven't tried the iRacing service yet. iRacing.com. Use our promo code you see there at the bottom of your screen, 2015-PSRTV. Buy 1 month, we'll give you 2 free for new subscribers only.
That's a pretty stout deal, if I do say so myself. And you know, it's really, really funny. I keep having these conversations with people about different drivers in the industry as far as where they've come from and how they have developed their skills. And so many people keep looking to what they call the video game kids. And that's not a knock. That's not an insult. It's simply what the old school racers who have been involved in the sport forever, busting their knuckles, buying cars, tuning them out, trying to make things happen. And they look at these drivers, most of whom are kids or younger drivers, like a William Byron, for instance, is tearing up the NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series, or Scott Hecker, who's there as well. And what did they do? They honed their skills on iRacing and its predecessors. And that's where they learned to drive. It's where they learned to adapt quickly to different cars, different tracks, and they very quickly have learned skills to go to these different places and be fast off the get-go. And they've learned racecraft. They've learned a lot of things. So really, as weird as it sounds, and it still sounds weird to me after being a proponent of this for nearly a decade, Joe, but the next big stars in racing are either coming from iRacing, quite literally, or they're spending a lot of time on it.
That is absolutely true. Nothing can replace in-car time, but this can definitely be a very, very close facility. Pace car lights are off. He will come down to the safety of pit road. It'll be the 0-5 and 2 restarting this race, and once again, Ottinger times it perfectly, gets the jump. He will get at least a car length in front of Alfala. Now here comes Humpy trying to make the pass. Behind him, though, he's got two very racy cars who want to get around him. It's going to be Casey Tucker and Ryan Lowe, who's immediately going to go under fire from Nathan Wise and the team member, Kevin King.
Yeah, Lowe trying to make the top side work. We saw Nick Ottinger make the outside work in his favor earlier, and Lowe trying to follow suit as they flash off turn number 4 across the stripe. And again, the field will fan out. Nathan Wise has the advantage on Ryan Lowe this time in turn number 1. And now Kevin King to the outside just behind him. Meanwhile, further ahead, Ray Alfala is all over the back bumper of Nick Ottinger. That's the race for the lead as they move off to turns 3 and 4.
If anyone needs this win and this lead right now, it is Ray Alfala. He needs everything he can do to try to make himself a 3-time champion here in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, powered by iRacing. Not going to make the pass through turns number 1 and 2, but the dogleg's coming up, and he's going to use that momentum to get down on the dogleg. New leader for the first time, Ray Alfala will lead this field to the start-finish line. Ottinger will tail behind in second, Kenny Humpy in third.
What is this, Joe? The 4th or 5th different leader we've had tonight? We're not even halfway yet. By far, one of the most competitive races we have seen all season in the NASCAR Antifreeze Series. That's why we love coming to Phoenix. It's always such a wild card and such a unique racetrack, and so many drivers have a shot to do well. We saw Casey Tucker on the pole, a big surprise, a pleasant surprise. Nathan Wise is inside the top 5. Kevin King is having one of his better runs of the season. And, of course, the usual suspects are up there as well. But a lot of good stories as this race continues to unfold. Byron Daly has worked his way into the top 20. The best runs he has had all season long after fighting all kinds of issues. Michael Conti is in the top 15. And P.J. Sturgis, third in points, just caught a piece of the concrete as they swept off turn number 2, Joe.
Hard right front contact for that driver, and Sturgis is now going to be probably limping that car a little bit until he can get down the attention of the crew down on pit road. And even then, we'll have to see how much damage there really is in that car to figure out what they can do to make that car raceable for the rest of this evening. Alfala is still in front. Ottinger, Humpy, Casey Tucker, Nathan Wise. So that group is starting to split up just a little bit. And as you look at the rest of this field, everyone else starting to settle in and calm down. I think that rash of yellow fever, Tony, got everyone scared and got everyone's head in the right place. And now they're starting to realize, you know what? We still got 100 of these left to do. Finally,
Well, I think it was that, Joe, and I think it was the fact that nobody really wants to be under yellow. They want to try to make up some spots, and it simply took a lap or 2 to get everything shaken out. These cars very, very, shall we say, dance happy or tail happy or whatever you want to call it. They're on ice, essentially, the first couple of laps because the tires are cold, they're not up to pressure, they're not up to temperature, and it can really keep you a handful if you don't know what to expect. It sounds so easy on paper, but literally, Joe, we're talking fractions of an inch of turn on the wheel, just a slight little difference, and that's all it takes for some of the best drivers in the world to lose control of these cars because they are absolutely just a handful. That's all they are. They are a handful no matter who is behind them, and that, I think, quite accurately replicates an actual Sprint Cup Series car. The best drivers in the world have problems with them from time to time. They're not easy machines to drive, and these virtual replicants are no exception.
You know, well, this track is not an easy track to master either. Let's take a look at some of the tracks that we've raced here in the past weeks. And when you consider some of the cookie cutter tracks, I call them though affectionately, when you consider some of the cookie cutter tracks we've been to this season, like Texas, like Charlotte, like Kentucky, those tracks are very much drive the same and are very similar to each other. Phoenix is not that way. Phoenix is this very kind of weird oblong shape, has that weird dog leg in the back of the racetrack. So this is a track that takes a lot of skill and a lot of critical concentration in order to make work, in order to make your car work the best on the track.
New leader Nick Ottinger at the end of lap number 60. He just made his way around Ray Alfala at the front of the field. So Ottinger reassumes the point for the 3rd time tonight by my unofficial count. And Look who else is there in the party. Kenny Humpy. That number 58 car is still rolling forward. He's got the peak guarantee on the hood, but one thing is guaranteed. He is a guy you have to beat if you want to win here in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. And Ray Alfalla, small bobble that time in turns 1 and 2. May have opened the door for Humpy. Not able to stick his foot in it, though, is the Ohio native. He'll continue to ride in third. And now, Ottinger's beginning to pull away from this group, Joe. Remember, the first run of the race, Ottinger was back inside the top 5. We said he was faster than anybody else on the racetrack. The track position was not working in his favor. Now he's the leader, and he's still the fastest car on the racetrack. If all that adds up, Nick Ottinger maybe check out and say,
Nick Ottinger may do just as well, may do that, but also can take this into consideration. Remember when I said earlier that all the infighting they were doing behind is playing into his hand? Well, guess what? It's playing into Nick Ottinger's hand as well. It helps he's got a very fast little Toyota underneath him, but the fact of the matter is the more Ray Alfalla and Kenny Humpy fight, the more Casey Tucker and Nathan Wise fight, the more Nick Ottinger is going to be able to pull away from those two drivers. The more they stay in line, the more they focus on trying to catch up to 0-5. It's going to give the advantage to the aggressors, if you will, and it's going to give them a little bit more boost as they try to make it past the 0-5. Plus, you know, we just barely passed the 100 to go mark. Yes, we're less than 100 laps to go here, and they will tick off quickly. But the two and the two machine and the one behind them, the 58 of Kenny Humpy, those two drivers have a little bit of time on their hands to try to work their way through the field, work their way back to 0-5, wait for the 0-5 to make a mistake, and then it's feeding time.
It would be feeding time, no doubt, and it would be almost like spreading, fish fodder in the water when there's sharks surrounding it. That's about all you can do. Problem is for Nick Ottinger, it doesn't look like he's going to be becoming fish fodder or shark bait anytime soon. Further back in the field, great battle for about the 15th spot. Matt Busa is there in the middle of that one. Justin Bolton, Benjamin Burmeister is there. These three have been going at it hot and heavy, and they've separated themselves from everyone else around them, including Brandon Schmidt, Byron Daly, Tyler Laughlin. But this is a fair little tussle back outside the top 10, and Justin Bolton, for the moment, has the spot in position 14.
For now, but we'll see how that all plays out for him as we continue on the race. Remember, we have a little bit of time left in this race, and if we continue to go the way we're going at this pace, this race should be over in a matter of minutes as opposed to hours. Everyone on the track minding their P's and Q's right now. Everyone on the track being polite, giving everyone else the room they need to race this very odd-shaped track, this odd oblong, if you will. And these guys are doing it very, very well. So, you know, time's on their side, but not a whole lot.
I almost feel like kicking into that song. What is it? Time is on my side.
No.
Maybe
no,
so.
No, it's not.
Well,
I know it's not on your side either, Tony.
No, tune is not on my side at all. You're correct. That's why I don't sing. I speak. That's just how it works. Anyway, Ottinger the leader up front as we complete lap number 69 this time by Ray Alfalla, the second place runner, Kenny Humpy, lurking in third with Casey Tucker and Nathan Wise making up the top 5. Rest of the top 10 at this juncture include Kevin King, Ryan Lowe, Taylor Hurst, PJ Surgis, and a solid run from Brad Mahar in the Tim's Corner Motorsports number 13. And Brian Blackford is there as well in the number 33, trying to crack the door of the top 10. A lot of names up there, Joe, who we don't talk about very often, and certainly I know they are relishing their chance in the spotlight here tonight.
Well, if you're going to make a name for yourself, Phoenix is the place to do it because not very many drivers can drive this track. And again, as I was talking earlier about the evolution of the sport, if you're going to make a name for yourself, you want to make sure you're known in 2016, this is a place to do it. And now is the time to do it. Because what you do now, even though it may not mean the difference in cash or credits or whatnot, what it will mean, though, is that name brand credibility going into 2016 and beyond. Ottinger and Company now start to run into some lap traffic. This time around, they will pass the 50 of Alex Scribner to put him officially one lap down. And so far, everyone doing that handily. And now, I got to ask you this here, Tony. Lap traffic, who does that give the advantage to? I think I know the answer, but I want your expert opinion on this.
The question here, Joe, I'm not really sure it helps anybody. I think if anything, it's going to help guys further back because they don't want to go a lap down to Nick Ottinger, but everybody else, okay, well, he's already passed me. But really none of them seem to be having a problem at all. As a little bit further back, looking at the 57 of DJ Sturgis and others further back here as well. Kevin King, Ryan Lowe, Taylor Hurst there too. King really making that top side work for him, or at least trying to. Here comes Ryan Lowe now down to the inside underneath the number 29. And he'll try to reclaim that spot. That's position number 6 they're battling for. Kevin King again, one of a few drivers, Joe, who's been able to make the outside work, and that might be the longer way around, but Kevin King making it happen here at Phoenix.
The thing, though, is can he make it work? Can he make it work sustainably and for the rest of this race? Yeah, because it's going to be a long race yet. And again, time, it's not going to be time here. As the 29 now gets quagmired by lap traffic, 50 of Scribner is going to bottleneck that group 3 wide now as the 38 and 74 the 29 find a way to navigate around them in that very difficult turn 3 and 4. The good news, though, is for Kevin King is he's squarely in the top 20 for the 2016 campaign. He'll be there. The Iron Man of iRacing, if you will, who's doing the season after season, he'll be there. I am not worried about that. What I am concerned about, though, is can Kevin King make it to the top 10 and at least get a little bit of payback for his efforts this season.
Well, payback maybe for those, but I was watching Corey Vincent while you were looking at Kevin King, and I will tell you one thing. Corey Vincent, that 3-wide maneuver on the apron of the dog leg, phenomenal. Picked up 2 spots, and now Brad Mahar behind him. Something amiss with his Toyota. That car is way up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2 the last couple of laps, Joe, and just seems to have no grip whatsoever, no speed at all out of the 13. He apparently has lost his lucky charms. Michael Conti just made his way around, moving himself up to 12th. And what a drive by Michael Conti. Joe, we're closing in on halfway. We'll be halfway through this event next time around, and Michael Conti has made up, count them, 24 spots for Michael Conti. One thing's for sure, he's got something happening underneath the hood of that thing. I don't know if it's a bunch of peak rolling or what, but Michael Conti certainly has found some speed here at Phoenix.
He's found speed at the exact time he needs to find speed in the second half of the race on the downhill slope of it. And now really you're seeing what that can do. Meanwhile, our leader is down on pit road.
Nick Ottinger apparently feeling he can go the rest of the way. Going to take the gamble in short pit. Right side service complete on the Rheem Toyota. Left side is up in the air. They will finish off 4 brand new virtual Goodyear Racing Eagles. They tank a Sunoco Racing Fuel. Ottinger down and away. He will be scored 1 lap in arrears. Now the question is, who does that force to come down pit road, Joe? Does Ray Alfala come in? Does Humpy come in? Tucker, anybody? Or do they simply stay out? And if the caution were to come out, we know that's been a curse here tonight, Nick Ottinger is stuck 1 lap down, although at this very moment, he would be in the free pass position. But that still means he'd have about 35 cars to pass to get back up to the point. Big gamble on the part of the Rheem crew, but you know what? They've had some big gambles already this season, and their luck hasn't run out just yet.
Yellow flag of fever is all I have to say, and I don't think I'm opposed to this move by Nick Ottinger, because if he does go down pit road now, and let's assume the race stays clean for the rest of the race, the good news is he will not have to come down pit road. The bad news is he will be contending with people who have more time, better tires and a little bit more ballast in the fuel tank than he does. So, good move long term. Short term, he will pay for it. And you're absolutely right. Yellow flags will ultimately dictate what happens, but I've got a feeling once we see the first yellow flag fly in the second half of the race, you see smoke there, or some passive smoke there through turns 1 and 2. Once the first yellow flag flies in the second half of this race, we're going to see a whole lot more. Mr. Yellow Flag better be ready, because he's going to have to put some pink Nikes on and get running down this track.
Well, I think I know what he's thinking here, Joe. You look at what Nick Ottinger did. Everybody pitted around lap, what was it, 25, 30, somewhere in that neighborhood. And you can go about 75 or 80 laps or so here. So we're not extremely far away from pit stops, but we're far enough away that I personally would not be comfortable making a stop that early if I'm the leader. But apparently they feel that they are good to go, and they're going to play the odds and play the caution flags and try to make it happen for the next 30 or 40 laps, because if it does work out, they will cycle around to the lead, and they should have a huge advantage over Alfala, Humpy, and others who are out there on older tires. And look at this, Ray Alfala is running 26.5-second lap times. Nick Ottinger, 26 ones and 26 flats. That's a big difference at the end of a run. And then if a caution comes out, Ottinger's in good shape once again, because chances are he'll be in prime track position. But it really does set you up to, I don't know, it's a very odd strategy, no doubt. I guess they feel they have nothing to lose, Joe.
No, they really don't at this point. You know, and again, if you're Ottinger, look at where you're at in points. If you're Ottinger, you're 18th. You're barely hanging on to the top 20 to get you transferred into the 2016 campaign. If you're going to throw a Hail Mary, if you're going to try to push the issue as hard as you can, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to throw caution to the wind and see what you can do to make it work out there on the track. And you know, I got to give this team a lot of credit. They are doing everything they can. They're doing what they need to do to try to stay relevant in this series. Now the question is, did they make the right move, or will their gamble come up short?
I don't know. I'm still up in arms about that one, Joe. I think at the moment, it really puts them in a box. It really puts them in a box if the caution comes out after green flag stops, because now they're stuck with 30 or 40 laps older tires than everybody else and no real chance to pit. If it comes out before everybody finishes green flag stops, you're stuck a lap down. It's a huge, huge gamble. The only way, in my mind, that this strategy works out for Nick Ottinger, this race has to go green for at least the next 50-plus laps for it to work. It's a pretty big gamble you're taking, especially considering what we've seen earlier, but once again, Lee Munch will take that chance as this race continues to pan out. Now he's trying to work around Kevin King in the number 29. King is only 5 seconds off the lead of Ray Alfala. Now, if Ottinger is able to unlap himself under green here, Joe, that throws a whole new set of circumstances under it, because then he is eligible to stay on the racetrack and here at the lead. If a caution comes out, he's able to pit with everybody else and get 2 tires. So if Ottinger can unlap himself, that will completely change the options they have.
It also means he's going to burn up those tires a heck of a lot faster. And in the unlikely event we do go green for the rest of this race, he's going to have to deal with a lot of guys who are going to have a lot more fresh gear than he does. He's going to be wrestling that car for the rest of this night if he continues to run the pace he's running. He's got a lot of gumption. I'm going to give him that. I'm going to give him a lot of credit. And I could very easily be wrong. I have been known to be wrong in the past, Tony. And so there's an opportunity here, and I hope he gets it. But I'll spare my optimism for the time being as we continue racing here. Lap 91, really not a whole lot going on the track right now. Everybody is fanned out. Everyone, for the most part, is single file, and everyone at this point is just waiting for the next shoe to drop. And by the next shoe to drop, I mean everyone's waiting to see when your next leader is going to come down pit road.
And we anticipate that'll be within the next 20 laps or so as you look at Ray Alfala, the leader, as he has gotten back around, got around Nick Ottinger when he came down pit lane, and he has yet to relinquish that spot since that moment. Kenny Humpy riding about a half a second behind him, or 10 car lengths or so. Then it's another second back to Casey Tucker in third. Nathan Wise is fourth, and Ryan Lowe has cracked the top 5. Then it's Taylor Hurst, Corey Vincent, Kevin King, PJ Sturgis, and Brian Blackford, the rest of the top 10. And Joe, a couple of drivers having their hands full right now. A few of them sideways, out of control, nearly smacking the safer barrier around the track. And that's bad news if you are Nick Ottinger, but it's good news if you're anybody else, because now everyone else you know is praying for a yellow. They want to come down under caution, make adjustments, get 4 tires, and have a chance to reset. But under green, any little mistake you might make coming down pit road is magnified by the simple fact the cars are at such high rates of speed.
Absolutely. There's really not a whole lot of room to slow down here. Unlike one of those mile-and-a-half tracks, unlike a super speedway, unlike a Michigan or an Auto Club, where you have a little bit more time to hit the brakes and get it down on pit road at appropriate speed. Here in Phoenix, you really don't have that luxury. You're basically trying to get that car slowed down from 128, 130 miles per hour all the way down to pit road speed. So imagine effectively having to hit the handbrake while you're cruising down the freeway. That's what's going to feel like for these guys trying to come down pit road. And you're right, Tony, if they get that penalty, if they're forced to come back around and do a drive-through for speeding down on pit road, that could kill their race.
Well, it could kill the race, but something else that can kill the race is lap traffic. Ray Alfalla now catching the tail end of the field. He's got Jake Sturgis ahead of him. And the number 41, there's Patrick Crabtree in the 15. Also there's Jason Rattler, Alex Lawrence, Gilbert, Evgeny Hansen, who's the head of this group. So 5 or 6 cars that might cause a little bit of a headache for Ray Alfalla. Here comes Patrick Crabtree. He'll give way to the leaders and come down pit road for service. That's one less car for Alfalla to pass, but this 2 car, the Wendell Scott Special, it's, guess what? He is certainly going to have to work it and work it hard to try to get this lap traffic out of the way and not be a factor in the way this thing comes out.
Remember I was asking earlier, Tony, who I thought the lap traffic would benefit, and you said nobody? That was not the answer I was looking for. The answer that I was looking for was it benefits everybody in second on back, because guess what? Now the team's backed up the traffic. Now he's bunched up in that group. And what he's got to do now is he's got to try to fight extra hard to get everyone else around him, which allows the 58 to catch up a little bit and start trying to get back in hunting position to get around that Wendell Scott Foundation number 2 of Alfalla. 58 now, only a car between those 2 drivers, and when we go to the start-finish line, the gap between them should be about 35 hundredths of a second.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind here, Joe, is you look at Ray Alfalla and Kenny Humphrey. As Ray Alfalla overtakes these machines, as he goes by each and every one of these drivers, that puts somebody else in the free pass position if the caution were to come out. At the moment, Jake Sturgis has that spot. Now, yeah, he's lapping a half a second a lap slower than Nick Ottinger, who's a spot behind him, as here comes down Nathan Wise down pit road. First of the leaders, to the attention of his crew, Nathan Wise comes in at a very, very slow 45 miles per hour. And this could signal the end for Ray Alfalla at the top of the scoring pylon. When will he come to the attention of his crew? Nathan Wise is in the SimSeeks car, and crew go to work. Right side is up in the air, a little slow around to that side of the car. Everybody else in for service too, at least further on back in the large chunk of the field. 4 tires and fuel for Nathan Wise. No visual adjustments. He is down and away, and now the question is, when does Ray Alfalla come in? Well, never mind, Kenny Humphrey. I'll check that. I'll get it all sorted out in just a second. Humphrey, I thought for a second came down pit road, but he did not. And now we are waiting. Kenny Humphrey, and here he comes down the pit lane very quickly on the binders, trying to maximize the entry, Joe. And the Peak Radiator Guarantee Chevrolet is on the way to the race.
Going off pit road was Rob Ackley, Kevin King. Going off pit road, Justin Bolton. Effectively, the entire team comes in before the 58 of Kenny Humphrey. So Kenny Humphrey may be one of the few team members who did not come down pit road last time by, but is coming down now. This could be a strategy of Kenny Humphrey to secure his championships. Right sides up, down, and on. Left sides will go up this time and go on. 2 tires off, 2 tires on. We'll take a virtual Sunoco fuel clean stop for the 58 as he is down and away.
So Kenny Humphrey going to re-emerge on the racing surface and rejoin the fray, and we'll see where he shakes out once it all comes around. Ray Alfalla still continuing to circulate here, Joe, and it leads me to believe that he is trying to lap the field, or at least trap the field 1 lap down for his benefit. The other thing is, if he comes in and he has fewer laps to go, it's less fuel he needs to take in the tank and maybe a little less time on pit road. Although I don't know that it's going to overcome the advantage that Nick Ottinger has. And there's the yellow flag. Caution is out. Tyler Hill goes around here on the front straightaway. Ray Alfalla has trapped 14 cars only on the lead lap. Everyone else is a lap down. And the free pass unofficially will go to Stephen Gilbert. Not what Nick Ottinger wanted to see, but this is the gospel tune if you are Ray Alfalla, Joe.
This is exactly what Ray Alfalla needed on the track. The three of Burmeister looked like he might have been having some electrical problems with that machine. Hard to say what happened, but nonetheless, it looks like he just got misestimated the distance he had between himself and the 9 and tapped the 9 coming out of turn number 4, and that caused the 9 to spin out in front of the rest of this field. And it looks like the 3 might have caught a couple other cars as well. It's hard to say from our vantage point, but it was definitely the 9 that brought him in. Pit road getting busy. And actually, by getting busy, I mean 2 drivers are going to come down the attention of their crews. Ray Alfalla, and it looks like it looks like behind him, Casey Tucker.
Casey Tucker going to come down for service, and next closest driver is, look at this, Andrew Fiash the 3rd in the 3rd spot. Daly is up the 4th, and Landon Harrison, another surprise, up in 5th. They'll all come in for service, but they are way behind the leaders. Alfalla, no pressure, we're able to get 4 tires off and on. Brandon take a virtual Sunoco fuel. There comes Andrew Fiash the 3rd, just pulling into his spot as Ray Alfalla leaves pit lane. Casey Tucker's service will finish as well, so Alfalla unchallenged off the pit road. Question now, Joe, how many drivers take the wave around? We have got, let's see, from a 15th spot all the way through 33rd. 18 cars, 1 lap down. And somehow, well, check this, Nick Ottinger, yes, now being scored in the lead lap because he stayed out on this cycle, and he'll stay out as they come around pit lane this time, so he will take the wave around, as will a few others. And if a caution comes out, well, guess what? You might be in good shape. If it doesn't come out and you're Nick Ottinger, you're trapped with 30-lap-old tires and not in a good spot, Joe.
That's what I was worried about. That's exactly what I had concerns over. He may have burned up his gear, he may have burned up what he has underneath him, and if that is the case, then he is going to be in a world of hurt. That being said, though, he did have a very good car. He had a very strong car earlier in this race, so now the mettle will be tested, if you will, of the 05 and of Nick Ottinger. He's currently scored in 13th. And we'll see where exactly he's going to be when everything comes back to said and done. So, you know.
I really didn't expect Ottinger to be that far up when it cycled through. Yes, he was, and yes, that will help his cause. But again, the number of laps on his tires, I don't think are going to work to his benefit. The thing that Nick Ottinger needs now, once they cycle around, once everybody gets the wave around, he needs a quick yellow. He needs a chance to come back down pit road, get 4 new skins on that Toyota, and have a shot to drive through the field. I don't know that he can do it. I think there are too few laps left to make it happen. We've been proven wrong before. Ray Alfalla, on the other hand, he will lead the field to the green, followed by Casey Tucker. And look at this. Best run of the season for Byron Daly, the Focus Energy Shot Toyota. I know he and his buddy Parker Klickerman, they have been studying and trying to get some things rolling. A little bit of luck never hurts. And Byron Daly now inside the top 5. So look at that. Never know what can happen on pit strategy races.
Well, and now we're really going to see that pit strategy being tested. We're less than 50 to go at this juncture. And whatever is going to happen is whatever choices you make up to this point, you have to live with them. And you have to live with what you've done out there, and that will affect what happens by the end of this race. So Ray Alfalla leads him back down to the attention of the green and the flag. Pit stalls closed. His car's down in, and Alfalla wastes absolutely 0 time hitting the loud pedal. Alfalla in front, Casey Tucker, Byron Daly in 3rd, Andrew Fiash, Landon Harrison fighting for 4th.
Good battle for that 4th spot. And look who else is in the mix. Adam Gilliland is there, the Gary Mercer trucking machine. He tried to get the 2-for-1 special, couldn't make it happen. He'll be stuck behind Landon Harrison and Andrew Fiash III as they continue to race side by side off turn 4. Further back behind him, nearly 3 wide with Brian Schoenberg, Corey Vincent, and the number 83 machine of Thomas Davis. And a lot of comers and goers here, Joe. Everybody trapped by this pit strategy and the way the yellow came out in the middle of the stops. Things getting really, really hectic further back with people moving forward, moving backwards. This has all the makings for a really, really hairy situation.
Lots of excitement, lots of energy going down on the track at this time. And like I said, this is where it gets real. This is where the rubber meets the road. quite literally. Alfala and Tucker have a huge lead over the rest of the field. Byron Daly now in third. Behind them, Harrison and Fayash continue to battle for position number 4. Adam Gilliland looking to take away the scraps from whoever loses in that battle. The 77 of Andy Fayash in third. Where did he come from, the 77? He will pick up 4th. Amanda Harrison 5th. And Adam Gilliland doing everything he can to fight for position. Nick Ottinger, the darling of the race, he's now position number 11 to try to start fighting his way forward. Kenny Humpy, who took the early lead, your points leader, now in 14th.
This is the quote-unquote bad race that Kenny Humpy is going to have. The problem is, if you're Ray Alfala, you need Kenny Humpy to have a lot of these, and you need to have him be a lot worse. Kenny Humpy trying to move forward. He's now up to 13th as he makes his way forward. And he's got about 40 laps or so to move up inside the top 10 and try to minimize any sort of loss to the two-time champion Ray Alfala. Nick Ottinger, to keep an eye on him, he is up to the 11th. But look at this. Some of these guys who have benefited from this, Joe, and they're still able to maintain the spots. Brian Schoenberg started 37th. He is up to 8th. Tyler Laughlin started 24th. He is up to 7th, well, maybe 8th now as Corey Vincent drives by. Of course, the number 10 of Vincent is, well, he's not being shown on the lead lap. In fact, Vincent being shown 1 lap in arrears, so that's not for position. Tyler Laughlin continues to ride in 7th. Adam Gilliland from 30th to 6th. Landon Harrison, 34th to 5th. Byron Daly, 33rd to 3rd. A lot of guys really happy the way the caution fell. Probably just as many happy as there are upset, but it's a good thing for some of these drivers to get some TV time, Joe. Get a chance to show what they can do if they could ever get their qualifying program together, because a lot of these teams, they're just as fast in the race as the top dogs. The problem is they have horrible track conditions to start the race out with, and they never get a chance to show.
Yeah, that does no problem for some of these drivers. And, you know, I mean, that's why racing is not just a sport of one discipline. You can't be fast during a race and with no qualifying package whatsoever and expect to win or be in the top 10, top 15 even on a regular basis. That being said, you can't spend all your time qualifying and then expect to be fast on the track, because you're set up for that just a short run on the field. So they're telling you racing is a very balanced sport. It's a sport about balance, and it's a sport about discipline. And if you do not understand those things and do not respect them, you may be good in one place, but it's not going to help you when it matters most.
No, you're exactly right. You've got to be good at multiple things at multiple times sometimes, Joe. And right now, this battle for 3rd has got multiple times as far as guys having to be good. Byron Daly in 3rd. 4th is Andy Fayash in 3rd. That's 77. And look at Landon Harrison. Harrison usually has one of our in-cars, and now he's riding in that 5th spot, trying to find a way around either one of these machines. You know the Andrew Fayash III people, the ARC Racing League, there a bunch of guys get together and run some races on the iRacing service, on some of the hosted servers. They're cheering Andy on. They've been all over Twitter, giving him all kinds of love here tonight. He's having a solid run, Joe.
You know, there's someone who's overdue for a good run. It is that driver. It is Andy Fayash III. He is a driver who has had to deal with a lot of struggles, both personally and professionally, on the track. And, you know, now he's in a place where he can really get some good TV time and really get some, and have a lot of fun here on the track. And he's really showing his mettle and showing what he's made of here tonight. And it's really good to see him out. Meanwhile, caution's back out on the field. It's going to be in, looks like maybe 47. No, check, that'll be the 91 of Shane Doherty, who was involved in that incident. It looks like he might have caught the incident, someone else's incident that happened before him. Yes, that will actually be the 50 of Alex Scribner that's going to cause the number 91 to get spun out. The 90 actually causes 29 Kevin King to spin out the number 91 of Shane Doherty. So 3 cars involved, and it starts with the 50 of Alex Scribner on the front stretch.
And Alex Scribner got a little loose off turn number 4. Had a little bit of help from behind him. And, of course, that car was already crossed up, and poor Rob Ackley had nowhere to go. Scribner then, middle of the front straightaway, got blasted by Doherty. And, of course, Kevin King there in the middle of it, too. But, unfortunately, that will bring out the caution flag once again. And it'll set up a sprint to the checkered flag with 120 laps in the books. Only 36 laps to go here in Phoenix. So, question now, Joe, do you pit or do you stay out?
To pit or not to pit, that is the question. Whether 'tis noble to try to get better tires and fuel, or to suffer the slings and arrows that the desert will throw upon you. Nick Ottinger will find out the hard way whether or not his camp will pay off as he comes down pit road, and he leads Taylor Hurst, Ryan Lowe, Brad Mahar, Matt Busa, Brian Blackford, Kevin King, all down there with him. Benjamin Burneister down there because of his issues. Adam Gillen down there as well. And Harrison coming to the attention of his crew. And it will be a full 4-tire stop for Nick Ottinger, as it looks like the 13 and several other cars are going to pass him along the way. So Ottinger will come back on the track with 4 tires, full tank of Sunoco racing fuel. The only question, though, is can he retain his speed? Can he still be fast enough in the next 30-some laps or so, get back up front and still challenge for this win?
I think he can, Joe. It's simply a matter of who else comes down pit road. Ottinger in 12th is down for service. A few other drivers did stay out. But again, the question is who and where. There's always going to be a breaking point. The first guy to come might have 1 or 2 stragglers to stay out further back, but usually everyone from that point further back comes down pit road. Landon Harrison, one of them, he is out with service, new tires, same with Adam Gillen. Then will come Brad Mahar, followed by Stephen Gilbert, Ottinger, Hurst, Wise, Blackford, and others. And how this resets should be very interesting. And I think if you're Ray Alfalla at this point, you're a little bit worried, Joe. You know you don't have the freshest stuff, but you hope you've got fresh enough stuff to hold them off. 123 laps across, or in the books as they cross the stripe. Take a quick break and be back to Phoenix in just a moment.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. Got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this. I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Welcome back to the Valley of the Sun. Ray Alfalla, Casey Tucker, and others ready to come back to the green flag, and let's reset how they came out from pit stops. Everybody from about 11th on back came in from tires to top 10. They have stayed on the racetrack. Landon Harrison, the first of those with new skins, he and Adam Gilliland. Former leader from earlier, Nick Ottinger, he is mired back in 15th. More than likely cannot get to the front. But again, we will find out once it all sorts out here on this restart. 125 laps complete. That means 31 circuits remaining. Ray Alfalla, Casey Tucker, Byron Daly, Andrew Fayash III, and Tyler Laughlin, the top 5 as we come down to the restart. And Ray Alfalla very quickly on the go pedal. He'll try to drag Byron Daly along with him. Those 2 former teammates at Slip Angle Motorsports can't do it. Tucker will claim second. Daly now rides in third. And look at Ray Alfalla. He is trying to ride off into the sunset. And behind him, Joe, they are scattering everywhere. It's better than a Waffle House in the back straightaway. As many cars as we've got strewn around this racetrack.
Yeah, better than a Waffle House, but a lot of waffles driving these cars, let's put it that way. The 05 of Ottinger's going to duck down low, and the 13 of Mahar, he's going to try to get around the 8 of Gilliland as well. Not going to happen this time behind him, more 3-wide racing. The 5, the 33, the 37, all 3-wide going into the dog leg, and cars everywhere as they try to use the full width of this track to their advantage. Not going to happen this time, but still 2 and 3 wide as we go through turns 3 and 4. No victims from Calamity Corner yet. I've got a feeling it's only a matter of time before we see it.
This has all the makings for a bad late night snack. If you want to scatter them, smother them, and cover them, Thomas Davis, as well as the Brad Mahar car just about got into it in turns 1 and 2. They're still scattering. Trey Eidson's back there. They were nearly 4 wide for a moment. They tried entering turn 3 abreast. That's not going to work. They get it somehow single down to just 2 wide. Looking at this, look at this. Look behind him. Tyler Laughlin, you're on board with his Monster Energy Chevrolet. Look at that. How do you deal with that? Well, he's not dealing with it very well. It's that Adam Gilliland and Nick Ottinger both dart to the inside. Gilliland gets a spot. Ottinger gets a spot. Teloff is going backwards, and the chaos still is not over yet.
The chaos is not over yet, nor will it be over for any time soon at this point, at this juncture in the race. Now you guys are just running as hard as they can, as fast as they can, as quick as they can, with only one goal in mind. Get to the front of this field. If you can't get to the front, get as close as humanly possible. Kenny Humphreys knows that all too well. He's worked his way to position number 8. Nick Ottinger now position number 10, and behind them, still double file, is Taylor Hurst trying to fight alongside the 8 of Adam Gilliland. Nathan Wise in that mix. Justin Bolton, Ryan Lowe still side by side through turns 1 and 2. And into the dogleg they go one more time.
All kinds of racing further back through the field. Meanwhile, up front, there's racing to be had as well. Andrew Fayash III just got bypassed by PJ Sturgis. Here comes Landon Harrison. Remember, Harrison was the first car with tires on that restart. He has made his way up to 6th. Now he's looking at 5th. Kenny Humphrey is trying to follow right in his tire tracks. And look at the corner of the picture. Who else is back there? Nick Ottinger has broken free, and now he is inside the top 8, trying to at least crack the top 5. You know what? With a quick yellow, Nick Ottinger might have a shot at this one.
It's entirely possible. Let's not throw anything out. Caution flag out once again.
Trouble, and it was nearly trouble up front with Byron Daly and others, but here on the front straightaway, Stephen Gilbert has come to rest just past the flag stand. That was back in that Hornet's Nest. Tyler Laughlin got into him coming off turn number 4, and miraculously only a few other cars caught a piece of it. That could have been very, very ugly. Minor damage for Stephen Gilbert, minor damage for Jake Sturgis, but nonetheless, it does put us under the caution flag with 133 laps complete, just 23 circuits to go.
4 cars involved in that one, the 37, the 51, the 41, and the 6 machine of Trey Hodgson, all involved in that incident. And that is exactly what some of those guys who were trailing those leaders, that's exactly what they needed to get them bunched up one more time and get that rocket start they needed. And very entertaining. Look who's going to be starting caddy corner to each other, or side by side to each other. Kenny Humphrey, Nick Ottinger, the 2 drivers who have been dominating a lot of this race, they will restart this race 7th and 8th respectively. So now you've got 2 drivers who know how to drive this track, who are hungry for this win, starting side by side, and only 4 rows away from leader Ray Alfala. Tony, you couldn't ask for a better finish.
No, you really could not ask for a better finish, and we'll come back to that finish in just a couple of moments. You're watching the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series live from Phoenix International Raceway here on iRacing Live, and all of our affiliates will be back in just a moment.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to Phoenix. The stage has been set for the show that is the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series here on round number 13. It has been a bit unlucky for some, very fortunate for others, and we will be going back green with 19 laps to go. Oh boy, it's going to be getting wild, woolly, and certainly very, very hairy as we get ready to roll for this one. Could it be the last restart of the night? It may be. I've got a feeling it might not be the final restart of the night. Let's shape up a couple of the stories now going into this restart. The leader, Ray Alfalla, he's led most of the second half of this race. Pole sitter Casey Tuttle will restart second. Other stories who have made their way up on the luck of the caution earlier: Daly, Sturgis, and Harrison in the top 5. Humpy and Ottinger restart in row 4. And Nathan Wise, one of the comers we've been looking at earlier, he is back up to 11th. 19 laps to go. Green flag in the air. Ray Alfalla leads the field off to turn number 1 one more time, and behind him side by side for third, BJ Sturgis. Byron Daly in the middle of that's Landon Harrison. Look at Nick Ottinger. Ottinger down to the middle of the campground as he tries to get underneath that pair. He'll get around Fiash. He'll be to the inside of the 89 of Landon Harrison. And now off turn number 4, he'll peek to the inside of Byron Daly. One thing is for sure, nothing is stopping that ring machine, and caution is out once again. Problems in the front straightaway. Brian Schoenberg has gone around. I think Chris Overland might have caught a piece of it as well, but this will put us under yellow once again. And wow, hello, Joe, things have gotten pretty doggone crazy.
So it really all starts around that 55 of Schoenberg, and it looks like Schoenberg, he may have gotten a little assistance from the 38, but it looks like he may have gone anyways on his own, considering he was already starting to drift at the end of turn number 4, which has been a dangerous turn all night long. The 38, though, it looks like gave him a little bit of help there. That's Ryan Lowe, and that's going to start a chain reaction through the field that's going to at least cause damage on 5 cars. 6 cars if you include the 47 of Chris Whoa! And the
Whoa, Joe, Brian Schoenberg just gave a payback to Ryan Lowe. I do not know what that was all about, but he just went right up the racetrack and turned Ryan Lowe under caution. So the 38 car just got dumped by Brian Schoenberg under yellow. Well then, that was unexpected.
Nah, that wasn't unexpected. I think Schoenberg knew exactly what he was doing, and I think that he made a very clear statement to the 38 of Ryan Lowe, and I think we now know where the blame lies for that incident. So, or at least in the mind of Brian Schoenberg. So, Schoenberg done for the night. We'll put it politely, if you will, and I've got a feeling that we may not see him next race, but that is for them to figure out down the Little Red Hauler.
Little red, white, and blue trailer is getting very busy, I have a feeling. Shannon and Nim and those, I'm sure, conferencing on Channel 5 right now. And that might be a rather interesting conversation, be a fly on the wall. Doesn't matter as far as we're concerned, because we've got a race to finish. And Joe, we're going to have less than 15 laps to settle this thing. There you see Brian Day getting the free pass. So he will be back on the lead lap. And let's look at this now. Further down the running order, Nick Ottinger is back up to 6th. He'll be on the outside of row number 3. Kenny Humpy will be on the inside of row 4 and 7th. We thought it might be a disastrous points night for Humpy earlier in the night. Don't think that's going to happen, Joe. He is inside the top 10. And if he can keep cranking finishes like this off, Ray Alfalla has no chance.
Who said it was going to be a disastrous points night for Humpy? Who said that?
Well, I was thinking it. I was thinking it.
But you never overtly said it. And if you even overtly said it, I would have challenged you on it, and here's why. He ran very strong in the beginning of the race. He ran very strong towards that first pit stop. He had a little bit of trouble at the midpoint of the race, and now he's worked his way back up to being within the top 10. He's got a good car and a good look at the top 5 when we go back to green flag racing, and now we're getting these little sprints, which is where Kevin Humpy, Kenny Humpy is very strong and knows what he's doing here. The only problem is he's got other sprint drivers around him as well, like Sturgis, like Alfala, and like Ottinger. So this is really going to be a test. Was it ever going to be a disastrous points night? Absolutely not. Humpy had control of his car all night long. The issue, though, is where is he going to end up in comparison to those around him? Because the more points, more spaces he lets Alfala and company have, that just opens up the door a little wider for them to try to steal this. Not a lot, but, you know, at least a couple paper sheets full.
Hey, Joe, are you big on numerology?
No.
Well, you might want to be. This is round number 13. It's been a wild and wacky round, no doubt. We're going to restart round number 13 with 13 laps to go, and there's probably about 13 more opportunities for a caution flag. It has been that kind of night. And Ray Alfala, guess what? If I had to look, he's probably going for his 13th win of his career. Don't think that's really the case, but it wouldn't surprise me. But nonetheless, he's got his hands full. Pace car gets ready to make the left-hand turn off the racing surface. And once again, Ray Alfala and Casey Tucker at the command of this race. The flagman will look the field over, and they will pick up speed. Green flag once again. And here we go. Look at Ottinger. Hello, where did he come from? Ottinger gets a heck of a run for 6th. He now dives underneath the Byron Daly. That's the race for 4th. That's not a race very much longer. Here comes Ottinger now trying to squeeze up, and he does. Ottinger to 4th. Humpy now moving forward. He's up to position number 6. Again, Joe, back straightaway is the wild card here at Phoenix.
You're almost right there, Tony, about Ray Alfala. He's actually looking for win number 16 in his career, but one man who is actually looking for that elusive race number 13 at the 13th track in the 13th round of the NASCAR Big Antifreeze Series is Nick Ottinger. He's currently in 4th. He has 12 wins as of last week at Watkins Glen, and now he is within driving distance. He is within striking distance of taking home win number 13 at round number 13 on the 2015 season as the caution flag comes out once again.
Brad Davies once again involved in an incident here on the front straightaway, all by himself. Lost it off turn number 4, and that'll put him under yellow one more time. Oh boy. Hey, Joe, guess what this sets up? Nick Ottinger restarts in the back bumper of Ray Alfala with less than 10 laps to go. Who'd have thunk it earlier tonight?
You know, this is the exact situation. If you go over to the Gale Force Racing Garage, we go over to that crew chief, the top of that pit box right now, and you ask them, is this the exact situation you were preparing for? They're gonna tell them yes. They're going to tell them, yes, we saw in the crystal ball, this is exactly what we were going for. Totally blatant lie, but they could not set themselves up any better for a storybook finish here tonight at Phoenix International Raceway. They are now in very, very close proximity to your leader. You couldn't get any closer without taking the lead away from him. And now you've got an opportunity to win this race in the closing laps of the race. But let's also take a look here, because there's a lot of other drivers who would be happy to capitalize if something happened to your two favorites. Casey Tucker is up there. P.G. Sturgis up there. Kenny Humpy is 6th. Look at that.
You know, every time I've been to a racetrack with a full moon, Joe, it's been a little hectic. This coming Saturday night's no exception. Full moon, I think, is supposed to be on tap for that. Full moon here at Phoenix tonight for the NASCAR Big Antifreeze Series. It is the 13th race of the schedule. Where are the werewolves at? That's all I want to know. Where are the werewolves? Well, then again, when they put helmets on, we really can't see what happens to them.
Werewolves are in London. No? Nothing?
It could be werewolves in
Somebody
London.
on Twitter is going to get that reference.
Yeah.
Someone got this. Actually, damningly enough, Tony, someone did get the Shakespeare reference I made earlier in this race. So thank you to whoever got that reference. Nappin.
He gave you
on
compliments
Twitter,
on that, by the way.
#NPass got that my Shakespeare reference, and I guarantee you someone's going to get the Werewolves of London reference. use the hashtag NPass on Twitter to interact with us as we close out this, what has been a downright eerie race at Phoenix International Raceway.
You know, it's been a race of songs. The problem is we've tried singing them, and that never works out well. You should know that, Joe.
You know what? I don't know much, but I do know this. What a wonderful world it would be if the 05 could make that storybook finish. But again, no matter what, one of these guys is going to be singing that tune when the checkered flag hits, because one of those guys will be a heck of a lot closer to solidifying their space in the next season, or they'll be that much closer to solidifying their space towards walking away with a little bit of cash money for their efforts this season.
Speaking of Nick Ottinger possibly winning this race, Joe, something came across the Twitter feed a few minutes ago from Gale Force Racing at GF Racing 05, and it says, I quote, "Nick says he's going to win, so apologies in advance." Sounds to me like Nick Ottinger has got one thing on the mind, that's a trophy. Consequences do not matter to him. He simply wants to be the first guy across the stripe. I got news for him, though, Joe. We're going green at the conclusion of lap number 150. That leaves 6 laps. One of two things is going to happen. He's going to get a couple of laps to get around Ray Alfalla and Casey Tucker, and the caution comes out, and the race is over. Or he gets a quick yellow, and then maybe a 1 to 2 lap shot to get around these guys. A lot of things out of Nick Ottinger's control right now, but do not be surprised if he uses that dog leg off turn number 2 and makes a absolutely ravenous attempt to take a bite out of the top 2.
He's going to be like McGruff the crime dog and try to take a bite out of this race and pick up win number 13 on his career. Pace car goes down to the safety of pit road, and Alfalla wastes no time, hits the commitment stripe, and we are back to the green flag racing. Alfalla trying to get away from Ottinger as fast as he can. Yellow flag could end this race, and Alfalla knows that, so he's going to try to get the Wendell Scott Foundation machine as far ahead as he can. Ottinger, though, trying everything he can to get around him.
Further back, they're trying to crash around Tyler Hill, Michael Conti, many others, but somehow they get it through turns 3 and 4 without any sort of issue. 5 laps to go for Ray Alfalla and Nick Ottinger. The gap is a third of a second. Ottinger is on about 16 lap fresher tires than Ray Alfalla. Lap time last time by, nearly identical. This time, Ottinger in turn 3 closes the gap to about 3 to 4 car lengths. He'll reel in the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford. 4 miles remaining here at Phoenix. Alfalla across the stripe. Last time by Ottinger, about a 1/10 of a second quicker, but can he get around the number 2?
That is a without our question as we continue to drive as hard as we can out here. The 05, the 2, side by side.
Trouble.
Not side by side, but nose to tail.
Adam Gilliland.
Try to run.
Adam Gilliland was sideways on the apron out of turn number 2. He gathered it back in. Will you avoid a yellow flag? That's great news if you're Nick Ottinger. Bad news if you're Ray Alfalla. They'll cross the stripe. 3 laps to go, and it's now a 3-horse race as Casey Tucker is in the middle of it, too.
The 2, the 05, nose to tail as they continue to dig as hard as they can with their race, starting to try to run away with it, and Ottinger won't let them do it. Meanwhile, Kenny Humpy is now back in the top 5. He's in top 4 as Humpy trying to steal this race away with 2 to go.
Humpy wants a shot at it, but his shot might be gone considering the number of laps remaining. Ray Alfalla has led and dominated the entire second half of this race. Pit strategy worked out to his advantage with a timely yellow flag, cut the pit stop sequence in half, but the guy behind him, he was the loser on that, and he has clawed his way back to the runner-up spot. 1 lap to go. Nick Ottinger reeling in. Ray Alfalla, the gap is a car length. Ottinger looks to the bottom of the dog leg on turn number 2. Can't reel in Alfalla. Does he use the bumper? Alfalla sails it in. Here goes Ottinger. Tries to make one last-ditch effort to move the number 2 of Alfalla off of turn number 4. It's not going to be enough. Ray Alfalla will win here at Phoenix. Ottinger just comes up short in second. Career best run for Casey Tucker in third, followed by point leader Humpy and PJ Sturgis rounding out the top 5. What a race by Ray Alfalla, and what a charge back to second for Nick Ottinger. Certainly one of the most competitive and one of the most entertaining races we have seen all season long here in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series.
What an incredible finish that was, and what an incredible win by Ray Alfalla. He earned that one out there tonight in the two-time champion, flexing his muscles, showing you exactly what it takes to be a two-time champion. But do not give any discredit to Nick Ottinger. His team did so much tonight to walk away with that big win, that big second place finish. They did everything they could to make it work for them overall, and they really did as much as possible to walk away with that win. So you got to give a lot of credit. We saw a lot of top tier talent on display tonight as Ray Alfalla makes the Polish victory lap, if you will. Nobody out there who finished in the top 5 has any reason to hold their head low at this juncture. They had one of the best performances of all time, dare I say it, in this track.
It was certainly a race for the ages. That one will go down as one of the classics, I believe, in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, and very, I would say, appropriately won by a two-time NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series champion in Ray Alfalla. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to talk the top 5 and analyze tonight's race, number 13 of the 17 race NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series schedule. Or let's check that, the 16 race NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series schedule. We'll be back in just a minute here to Phoenix to talk with Ray Alfalla.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back here to Phoenix International Raceway. And Joe, again, I think one of the best NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series races we have seen in quite a while. Numerous leaders, a number of lead changes, the competition level here at Phoenix, proving why this series is the pinnacle of sim racing, sanctioned, of course, by NASCAR with $10,000 on the line, and some of the best drivers anywhere in the world. Just an absolute classic of a race here tonight.
Well, not only that, but you saw the world's best sim drivers putting on an incredible show here, putting on an incredible amount of skill and talent on display at this track. When you look at the incidents there, Tony, there wasn't a whole lot of crazy incidents except for one payback situation, which you'll have at some time. Other than that, a lot of this was just guys trying to figure out the track and trying to tame the track. But those who were able to do so, guys like Alfalla, like Ottinger, like Humpy, like Casey Tucker, who started first, finished third. Those guys, they really put on a show of skill and a show of talent, a show of ability out there, Tony. And these guys, again, as I said, they really have absolutely no reason to walk away feeling ashamed.
No, I agree. I think they have no reason at all to walk away feeling ashamed. I think everybody who took part in this, yeah, was there some yellow fever, some rashes of caution? Absolutely. But you know what? That's all part of making a race shape up to be what it was. To watch Ray Alfalla dominate like he did, to see Nick Ottinger's pit strategy gamble almost pay off, even though it didn't look like it was going to pay off. To watch Kenny Humphrey claw back from being trapped a lap down through a pit cycle that was interrupted by a caution flag. So many things came into play here tonight, Joe. It's really amazing how it all worked out, and I do believe that you're going to get kicked out here in just a second and go out that little door over there and have a chance to talk with our winner, Ray Alfalla. And I think Joe might have actually caught up with the driver of the number 2 car.
Win number 16 of his career comes at Phoenix International Raceway, and Ray, was definitely a race well earned for you and the 2 team.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. First off, thoughts and prayers to Justin Wilson's family. I was pretty crushed yesterday after I heard that and saw the crash on Sunday. I met Justin Wilson in 2010 in the iRacing Intel GP finals in New York, and was a great guy. I wish I would have gotten to hang out with him more. So my condolences to his family. And as far as the race, very, very surprised by how fast the car was. I wasn't very fond of the track when I first got on it, being a big fan of the old Phoenix. And Lisa, our team owner, got on me and told me I needed to stop being so negative about it. So I kind of got over that and started to like the racetrack. And everybody on the Sam Allen Alliance worked really hard in the setup. Big thanks to Joey Brown, PJ Sergio. They put in a lot of time into this. And our car was absolutely amazing. Had a bad qualifying lap, and I knew the car had a lot more than that in it. And it was really fast in warm-up, and then, in the race, it just came to life. And it was just really awesome to be running up front, and also be right up there with Casey Tucker, who got the pole, and PJ I think finished 5th, and Brian finished 7th. So just a great team effort overall.
How big of an effort was it for you to relearn this track when you were so used to the old track, and how much of a learning curve did that throw into this entire race before you got the setup underneath you and you got in a place where you became comfortable with this track?
Yeah, it's night and day different from the old configuration, and we didn't go to Phoenix at all last year. So my last memory of Phoenix in this series was going over the pit wall in 2013. So, having the Wendell Scott Foundation on board, I've been making mistakes, making really stupid mistakes recently, trying to just do too much, and so tonight I just kind of relax and kind of let the car do its thing and trust the car. And it was a little bit more stressful than it needed to be at the end, not only because Nick had fresher tires, but because we loosened it up a little too much on the final pit stop. So, it was very stressful there at the end, but this is actually my 100th career start in the series and the 100th race of the series. So, just feels good to have run 100 of these. Can't believe it's already been 100, considering we run half the schedule of the Real World Series. So, I can't wait for the next 100.
Ray, you're just over 100 points out of first place. Winning the series may not be maybe out of the question. So what's the goal now for you and the team for the next 3 races?
The goal is to just keep working hard, pre-race, before the race, and not worry about the points. I mean, Kenny's so far ahead that I'm, at this point, I'm just trying to do my best for all of our supporters and make our supporters proud. That's pretty much the number one goal.
Ray Alfalla finishing first here tonight in the Wendell Scott Foundation Ford Fusion 100th start, 100th race, make it win number 15 for Alfalla's career in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Tony Stevens caught up with our second place finisher, the driver of the 05 Toyota, Nick Ottinger.
And numerology we thought might come into play for this guy race number 13 of the season after the restart with 13 laps to go. Maybe he could get win number 13 on the career. But Nick Ottinger, you came up snake bit, just one spot short. I'm sure the world wants to know the logic behind the pit strategy that you and Matt Holden and Peter Fisher and all those guys came up with. What was the thought process behind that puts you back so far there at the mid-stage of the race?
I want to first start off with sending my condolences to obviously the Wilson family, first and foremost too, but also Sergeant First Class Corey Hood from Team Fast Tracks. He was part of the Golden Knights parachuting team, and an unfortunate accident there, and just with going on about the strategy and everything, it was an exciting strategy. Something unfortunate happened in there to cause us to do that, but I guess you just move on from that. But I mean, we kept digging, we tried. I tried all I could on the last restart with a few laps remaining, just didn't have enough laps to actually get to challenge Ray until the last set of corners. So it was fun. I mean, it was difficult. I mean, we kept digging, me, Holden, and Peter, after our unfortunate circumstance there. It took a lot out of us, man. We were digging.
Well, you dug and dug hard up to second, and you guys have been on a roll as of late. A couple of wins. You've had great runs like this. 3 races to go with Darlington, Chicagoland, and Homestead, Miami. How can we expect the 05 bunch to do there? Can you click off a couple more wins, or are you testing? What exactly is the plan now for the final 3 races of the season?
Yeah, I think with the Ring Toyota Camry, JB2 designs, we can run up front like we've been past 3 or 4 races and get out there. And I mean, we have had a shot at the win again tonight after our unfortunate circumstance. Took a lot of hard driving, but I mean, I just can't see why we can't do it again. I mean, we're a top tier team, and everyone at Gale Force Racing just continues to work hard each and every race. And that's all you can ask from a bunch of guys coming together. So I mean, this is from the whole team coming together that makes me run so good the past few weeks. So I can't thank Gale Force Racing enough.
Well, that is Nick Ottinger. He finishes second, 1 spot short of glory here tonight. But another driver who is, I'm sure, tickled pink with his run, standing by with you.
Casey Tucker started on the pole, finishes 3rd here tonight. And Casey, I know you would have loved to go pole to pole here and win this race, but 3rd you can't beat.
Yeah, no, for sure. 3rd's a great finish, man. The car was good. It was a little tight short run, so that's kind of why I fell back a little. But long run, the car was really solid.
Definitely a solid car here tonight. Talk us through your qualifying run and how you're able to get this car up front to begin this race. And when you were able to start from position number 1, what was going through your mind 156 laps ago? What were you thinking as about what your expectations were for this race?
Well, I didn't really know what to think because I never saw that coming. I just the car was so good. I just went out there and ran a lap, and it turned out to be good enough for pole. And then after that, I ran I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. The car was really good, like I said, but yeah, I was just blown away by the pole. I was thinking, don't mess up. That was one of my biggest thoughts getting down into turn 1. Don't mess this up because you'll look really stupid, and I didn't want to do that.
Well, I think that is the least of the concerns you had tonight. Casey, coming into this race, you were in 22nd. You were 2 spots out of being locked in for next season. Knowing that you're so close and knowing that this big top 3 finish for you could change that complexion, what's it going to take for you to lock yourself into 2016 in the next 3 races?
Just keep making runs like that. I mean, if I could, keep starting up front, running up front, finishing up front, that would be the best thing for me. It's really hard whenever you start in the back to have a nice clean race and not have to worry about anything as far as keeping the car running at the end like it was at the start, just due to getting your car beaten up or run over or whatnot. So qualifying better, it's been a process this year. Obviously, it's my first year in the series. At the start I was pretty nervous every race, but now I've kind of calmed down a little. I've gotten more used to it. It's not as terrifying as it was when I started. But it just, getting used to the cars, getting used to racing around certain people every race, and knowing who you can and can't race is the biggest learning curve. But I think we should be able to hopefully finish out the year strong, not have to worry about that top 20 position as much towards the end of the season. I don't like worrying about that at all. It's not fun. It's really stressful coming in every week, not knowing if you're going to have to run Pro Series again, which I really don't want to do. So, so I'll just keep trying to finish where I've been finishing, the past couple of races. Decent finishes, nothing spectacular. Hopefully just stay out of trouble and bring it home.
Real quick, thoughts about Darlington in 2 weeks?
Thoughts on Darlington? I'm really excited for Darlington because I really enjoy that track as well. I like tracks where you have to drive a little more, not quite so hung out. The Darlington, obviously you're hung out, but it's a different type of hung out. You're not trying to keep the car so loose because you don't want it to snap out from under you there, because if you do, you're going to go on the wall pretty hard. You want to set the car up. Usually I like to have a car that's a little bit more snug, a little bit more comfortable to drive there, just like I had tonight. Very comfortable, very snug, nothing to worry about. Just drive the car, don't mess up, hit your line, you'll be okay. And I should be able to take the Let's Race Ford Fusion to another top 5, hopefully.
Casey Tucker starts on the pole, finishes third here tonight with 3 races left to go in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series 2015 campaign. Tony Stevens has caught up with your points leader, Kenny Humpy, finishing 4th.
Certainly have, and Kenny, coming into tonight, you had, I think it was 120-some-odd point lead, or maybe not quite that much, but either way, it was a lot of points. You leave Phoenix unofficially with 109 points as the advantage. Essentially, you have to earn 35 points over the next 3 races to 100% lock yourself into a championship. Did you ever think at the start of this season, I know tonight's run is solid and all, but did you ever think in these final 3 races that you could almost be at a point where you could roll over and play dead and be handed $10,000?
Definitely not. Definitely not at the beginning of the season. That's just about consistency, and that's what we've done all year, man. We've I think had 1 finish outside the top 10, and that was Daytona, and just shows you how good our team's been all year, man. Just really super excited for all the guys. It's awesome to run this good because it really rarely ever happens, but to be able to do it and have a shot at this championship is one thing, but to have the lead we have this far into the season is just something else.
And, of course, tonight's race, it's led you to that point. Solid 4th place run. How did you get there? We saw you earlier in the night, mired back at about 15th or 20th after the pit stop sequence got interrupted by a yellow. How did you end up clawing your way back to 4th to get the kind of finish you did?
Honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of the people that were back of the field kind of, stayed out under that when that caution came out. So, some of the faster guys were still in the back. I know Ray stayed out and he was able to stay up front, but there was a lot of people that were, kind of mid-pack that stayed out. So it was kind of, just trying to pick my way through. And Nick was coming too. He coming to the front. He got fresh tires there under one of them late cautions and was able to make up some ground. But I stayed out on the older tires and just couldn't quite make up his ground as quick as he could. And he had a really fast car, as well as Ray did too. And Casey Tucker and all the guys that finished up there really deserved it because they all ran great. And I just got to say thanks to the team and Peak Antifreeze and everybody for being on board, and Carl for spotting for me, and everybody out there watching. It was a good run, and we just need to do that. 3 more times, I think, and we'll be good.
Now, truth be told, if you do it 1 more time, you'll be good. All you need to gain is 35 points, and it's locked in. There's no way Ray Alfalla can catch you. So if you do it again next week at Darlington, sign the check, because Kenny Humpy is going to be $10,000 richer. But that is the driver of the number 58, Kenny Humpy, finishing 4th here tonight. The 5th place competitor is hanging out with our friend Joe.
PJ Stewart just came in here 3rd in points, walks away from Phoenix with a 5th place finish. And PJ, you started 5th, you ended 5th. Not a bad night overall, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm real happy that we really figured something out in this setup with Ray picking up the win, Casey in 3rd. So good to see those guys run well, and of course Nick and Kenny running strong as always. So, but yeah, this is a setup that I spent a lot of time working on. It's something I never thought would even work, but the last couple of weeks we've been running it at Indy and here, and man, we've really found something, I think. So keep working hard at it, and hopefully it's just as good at Darlington.
Your 3 races. Well, let's start by talking about this race. It was a very contentious race on so many different levels. Was there any point in this race where you doubted that you could finish with a really good ending as you did here tonight?
Oh yeah, in all honesty, I probably didn't belong in 5th place at the end of that. Kind of got lucky with missing some wrecks, and I even got into the wall really hard a couple of times, and the car was pretty damaged, so it was trying to hold Kenny off there at the end, but he was just way too fast. So all in all, I'm really happy with the P5 here, because pulled a little bit of a gap, unfortunately, on my teammate there in 4th in points. So good night overall for our whole team.
It certainly sounds like it. Now, you came into this race 3rd in points. You are squarely in position to walk away with some cash money at the end of this season. For the next 3 races, what's the goal? Are you looking to preserve that 3rd place finish and walk away with a little bit of money in your pocket, or are you looking to try to walk away with a little bit more in 2nd?
Well, I'm just going to keep kind of going at it the way I have been, just trying to finish solid and be there at the end of these races. But it's also a little bit trickier when it's all your own teammates that you're racing for points. So we all know during the week where our practice pace stands, so it's a little bit different in that regard. But as this point, just don't take each other out and race hard and race clean is the plan for the rest of the year.
Certainly not a plan, not bad words to live by. That is PJ Sturgis finishing 5th here tonight at Phoenix International Raceway. And Tony, what a race it's been.
Certainly has, Joe. It was a spectacular race here tonight. No doubt about that. I have a feeling that everybody watching live on all of our affiliates enjoyed Fans Choice, iRacing Live, MRN, Nesson. Everybody certainly got something out of that race, whether you like the excitement of spins and crashes, whether you like the drama of pit strategy, whether you like seeing a guy try to hold on for a win, whatever it was. I think this race had something for everybody, and it really makes me anticipate, and I'm kind of going to be jealous, Joe. I'm going to be in Iowa at the IMCA Super Nationals in 2 weeks' time. You get to do the race with Tim at Darlington, one of my favorite racetracks, and it's going to be a night where we could potentially crown a champion, number 1, and number 2, it too is probably going to be a very entertaining race because we all know the lady in black, she doesn't like to dance with the same partner very often.
She doesn't like to dance at all, let's put it that way. I really have to give iRacing a lot of credit for the way this season ends, because it ends with arguably the most difficult races factored in for the very end. The last 3 races of the season. Darlington, they call her the Lady in Black for a very good reason, and you will see that for yourself in 2 weeks' time. Then Chicagoland, which about a mile and a half track, sure, but it's a much different experience than some of the other mile and a halves we've seen so far. And then, of course, the Pure Oval at Homestead, Miami, to finish out this campaign. So, Tony, they really did save the best for last, and it's going to be really entertaining to see what happens, because as the season goes, what happens at Darlington in 2 weeks' time could change the entire complexion of the series. Not only could we crown a champion, but if that happens, that means you have 2 races that are effectively pure exhibition, and with nothing else on the line but pride and elation and the joy of winning, Tony. It makes Darlington that much more important if you're in that top 5, and for everybody else, it puts you on notice. I've got to be on my best game for the next 3 races if I want to show up in 2016.
It really does, Joe. And again, if Ray Alfale scores maximum points every week, 48 points, wins every race, leads every lap, all Kenny Humpy has to do is score 35 more points over the course of 3 races, and this championship is his. The likelihood of that happening with Ray, it's not impossible. He's been that good before, but I just don't see it happening. So the fat lady, wherever she is, you can start warming up, because she needs to be singing at Darlington, I have a feeling. And we might see, again, that championship decided officially at Darlington. Realistically, I think it's pretty much over. But officially, Darlington could, in fact, be the event and be the night when it all happens. But, yes, the racing is going to be crazy. All kinds of shenanigans are probably going to take place. And you're going to see a wild last 3 races of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series Championship right here on iRacing Live, PSR TV, and all of our affiliates. On behalf of Ian Bushing, Matt Thomas, Chuck Johnson, Joe Cortez, hello Tim Terrier, wherever you're at, my name is Tony Stevens, saying congratulations to Ray Alfala for the win here at the Phoenix International Raceway. We will see you in 1 week's time for iRacing Night here on iRacing Live and Fans Choice with the NASCAR Xfinity Series Class B cars. They will be in action as well, also at the Darlington Raceway. And then 2 weeks from tonight, oh boy, the Lady in Black, the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, round number 14, a championship and a champion could be crowned. Don't miss it. We'll see you in 1 week's time right here. Good night, everybody.
Sorry, guys. I never would have thought making duck calls would have stirred up this much excitement.
No kidding. You got him coming up here.
Shortcut time!
That's what I'm talking about. You sure this is a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I got this.
I can't guarantee you how this will end, but Pete can guarantee your radiator for life. Introducing the Peak Run True Guarantee. Check it out at peakguarantee.com.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 in the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.